Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? You what? God designed, God designed.
Hey! What's up, board buddy? What's going on? What's the deal with my people? What's going on, board buddy? Hold on now. Can you hear me okay? What's up with my people? I'm in here. We back again. 2025. We still alive. We still in here. What's going on with my people, y'all? We back again. We finna turn up, y'all. We back doing these episodes again. If you don't know what's going on, this is the Borbo Show. This the place to be about if you are fascinated with dogs, if you like dogs, if you love dogs, stay tuned. You're in the right space. This the place to be. Everything that we do here is about empowering you with knowledge, information through our years of dedication and experience with the Boerboel breed, the dogs that we believe to be the best dog breed on the planet for modern civilized society. I'm gonna show y'all something interesting that I found out today. Welcome to all my peoples from EC that's new to the platform. If you did not know, my name is Jordan Pittman. I'm with Exotic Boerboels. This is the Boerboel Show. We talk about all things Borbo. If you're interested in this breed, if you want to get enhanced experience with your dogs, knowledge and information, we're going to supply you with tools that you can use in order to become stronger. We're going to empower you with knowledge. We've been doing this show since 2020, something like that, 2020. I don't even keep track. This has been a way for me to document our experiences. This has been a way for me to record where you can go back and look and get the information, get the story, see our dogs, see them as they grow, watch them from puppies to come on up. That's what this journey has been for us. It's about sharing with you. If you're interested in this breed, you can see we don't hide. We don't have anything to hide. Everything that we do, a lot of it is on video because we want you to see our dogs in all aspects. We want you to, we're not trying to Photoshop. We're not looking for the perfect pose. We want y'all to see our dogs' flaws, our dogs' strengths, their weaknesses, their virtues, as well as the things that they don't have. I mean, we got nothing to hide. And we want, our goal again is to share. And that's all that we have been doing for many years. This has been a documented evolution. We're not like some of these other channels that you may see, and not nothing wrong with trying to be a YouTuber. Ain't nothing wrong with trying to be get yourself out there, but that's not what we do. What we do is share our experiences and knowledge and information, the things that we have acquired through these years of intimate relationship with our dogs. This information will save you some tough lessons. Will save you some tough lessons, some heartache through our experience. We've been doing this show for 5 years now. So I just want to bring y'all up to speed a little bit. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. You know, I've been a dog lover for really all my life. Well, it's in my blood. What's going on with my people? I hope everybody has had a productive day, by the way. And I hope that you're staying positive and upbeat and uplifted, you know, and motivated to do with the things that you need to do. And always remember, it's a silver lining. It's always positive. The power of positive thinking. You will uplift yourself, and that's what I always try to do, positive and upbeat. So you got some critics, you got some haters out there that's been trying to come for me, And this has been going on for some time, but we always try to keep it personal. And this is the real, Exotic Boerboels is a brand. It's not just me, it's a family of breeders. So we take a different approach than your average, what you normally expect to of a dog breeder. Our program is built around responsible dog ownership. So let's start right there. Everybody that comes to our channel, this is I lost my train of thought. But we came here to share. So this is something that we do. We grew up loving dogs. This is something that I've always had. It's a pastime for me. Dogs give you opportunity. One thing about, I love people also. I love dogs very well, because one thing about the dogs, a dog is not going to change. The dog is going to be a dog. People, I love people, but sometimes you can't trust them. And that's the problem. What's going on? RBG, Long Wolf, Vanessa McFadden. Thank you, Miss McFadden. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. If you know anybody that may find this information useful, please share it. So, with that being said, I've been a dog lover all my life. Dogs is a pastime, it's healthy. People that have dogs tend to be less stressed. You can depend on the dog. The dog is not going to turn its back on you. A dog is going to be there for you. And because of that, I feel very indebted to the dog. That's the type of person that I am. If you do something for me, then I feel like I'm going to do 3 times that for you. And then hopefully you will take that energy and do 3 more nice things. And then I'll do 10 nice things. And then it's just an evolution. It's a cycle of positivity. And we both building and we both blowing up and growing up. And it's give us an opportunity to reach more people. And, I'm from East Cleveland, born and bred, raised East Cleveland. And it's like, it could be, it's different here. It's different here in EC, right? You got a whole lot of distractions. You got a whole lot of extracurricular activities that you could be involved in. And I just choose to do dogs. I like dogs. I feel like it's rewarding. It's fulfilling. I like to feed my dogs good. I like to take good care of them. And I just want to be a good example of a human being. And, I would like to be a good example. I'm at that age. I'm 43 years old. And I want to be an example of the type of person that I would like to see. Or, my daughters, I got 5 daughters. I would like to, be an example of a model citizen or model man for them. So with that being said, this keeps me, I'm a different type of person. It keeps me out of trouble. It keeps me focused. It's a healthy activity. So I get into dogs. I've always been a dog lover. I had a golden retriever growing up. Everybody knew, more people knew the dog than they knew me. They called, I'm still a pup. But the dog was like a part of me. And I grew up with this dog. We went everywhere. He was off leash. It was just a natural relationship. I'm like a country boy in the heart with my dogs. And deep down in South is where our peoples is from. And so I love dogs. And I did my research. I did my homework. I couldn't have another dog. And, I'm the type of person that I get what I want. I want a certain thing and I go for what I want, and I'm going to have what I want. I don't think that there's nothing wrong with wanting better for yourself and want the best for yourself. So I got into these dogs. First, I started off with, I wanted a pit bull. My dog got beat up. So he was a neighborhood dog. He was everybody's dog, but he wasn't a tough dog. He wasn't a big dog. He wasn't a strong dog. And he got beat up. But, he would be going out, roaming the neighborhood, and he got beat up, and people would talk about him. I wanted somebody to back him up. So I got a pit bull. Long story short, couldn't keep the pit bull. He got away from us. Fast forward to now, I got so I looked into the mastiff breeds because they have this protection ability. The pit bull, because it's a combat sport breed, a sporting breed, it has to be friendly. It has to be handled. They're not human aggressive in nature. And what happens is that allows them, they can get stolen. So our dog came up missing. I wanted to get another dog, brought in the Cane Corso. The Cane Corso was a little bit aggressive. My first dog as an adult was the Cane Corso. Love a Cane Corso. I had a female. She was a little bit too aggressive. She was biting people. She would run across the street to get people. My tenant couldn't get in the house sometime. I couldn't get people to come over and watch the dog. So it made it problematic. I thought of the Boerboel was, and then it was a very common and popular breed. A lot of people had the Cane Corsos here in Cleveland, Ohio. This Ohio is like a capital for the Corsos. We got Tony Scandifio here, which was a pioneer in the breed. And it's like I was way too far behind. So I started with the Boerboel. Me and my brother, we went in on a Boerboel. And when this dog got here, he was stunning. He was beautiful. He was healthy. He was strong. And he had the muscle. He had everything that you would like to see in a dog. And he was laid back, but he still had that intensity. And I'm like, this is the dog for me. I'm looking for a dog. The reason that I was interested in the pit bull or interested in the Boerboel is because I'm like a physical dog. I'm a physical person. I like to get active. I like to exercise. I like to be moving around. So with that being said, the Borbo fit right into what I was trying to do. I want to develop a dog that's got this impressive appearance, this dynamic physique, this ripple when you see the dog that doggy, I'm on a live video. I gotta hit you back. I can't. We're gonna have to get together tomorrow. All right, we good. So I get into the Borbo. He's stunning, he's shocking, he's beautiful. And then I'm excited. Let me take it back a little bit, because when I first started inquiring about the breed, I ran into so many obstacles. It was like it was protected. It was something that they didn't want to share. They was protecting it. They was trying to hide it. They had all of these contractual obligations. They had all of these rules that you couldn't get papers. And this was in America. It was only like 6 or 7 breeders here. So I went over to South Africa and I kind of laid it out where I felt like they was discriminating against my voice because I was younger. Maybe they didn't take me as serious. Maybe they thought that I was trying. I don't know what they thought, but they didn't want to sell me a dog. That's the impression that I got. So I decided I would direct import from South Africa. They were trying to charge 3 times the price because the dog was rare. I went over to South Africa. I sought out a breeder. I found one that had integrity, and I felt confident. And I sent my money over there to South Africa. I spell checked, punctuated, did my grammar, and I made sure that everything was, all my I's were dotted, all my T's were crossed. I imported this. I waited 8 months for a very special, particular dog to have puppies. I didn't want just any Boerboel. I wanted a special one. I wanted an impressive one. I wanted something that it was a lot of different ones. Some of them were skinny. Some of them were tall. All of them didn't have what I was looking for, what I consider to be impressive. So I get this dog in and he's everything. And I'm eager to share. I'm so excited. They didn't have Facebook at this time. This is in like 2006. MySpace was the social media platform of the time. I wasn't in the MySpace. We had message boards. I put my dog up on the message board, and it was like, hey, it was a lot of, they was name calling me a thug, saying I didn't have the understanding and knowledge to breed dogs. I'm from EC. I know some thugs, and I ain't one. Anybody that knows me will tell you I'm far from a thug. I'm somewhat like a nerd, to be honest. I'm not a thug at all. I'm a hard worker. I'm not off the block. one of the homies. Like, you know, I'm a very private person, to be honest. And the only reason that I even started talking this much is because I started doing sales. And you know, that call, you can't sell if you can't talk. You got to talk. So that brought me out of my shell. Now, the biggest part of what I was starting to reveal as I dug into the history of this breed was born out of apartheid. Okay. And if you don't know what apartheid is, that's in South Africa. And it was where they had, it's like Jim Crow slavery, but this is in 2009, 1990 something. And this was born to supplement the farmer's income. So the farmers in the beginning, they had basically slaves or cheap labor. And the way that the laws changed, they had to boost up their income. They was very worried. And then they birthed this South African Boerboel breed to supplement the farmer's income. And if you look at South African Boerboel breeders, you're going to see a lot of breeders that are the owners. They're not necessarily the handlers. They're not the day-to-day caretakers of the breed. Okay. Then you have the natives who also have the dogs, but they always seem to have like the lower scoring, the lower quality dogs. Part of the scoring with these South African Boerboel is they have to be appraised in order to be registered. Now, that is born out of the fact that it's a system of checks and balances. If you never saw a Boerboel, how would you know this really is a Boerboel? If I present a dog to you and I say, well, this is a Boerboel, how do you know it's not a Boerboel crossed with a pit? Or how do you know it's not a Boerboel crossed with a Rhodesian Ridgeback? How do you know what a Boerboel is? So they have this system of checks and balances that would allow them to eliminate inferior dogs and include the best dogs. They only wanted the best dogs to represent the breed. Now, that makes a lot of sense in theory, but the actual practice of what they were doing with the breed was basically gatekeeping. It's a way to kind of push down certain people, dogs, or individuals, or class of people, whatever. And it's a way to kind of say, your dogs are less than and our dogs are better. And that's kind of what I found out. And that's where I really had a problem. All right. Because it was less about the dogs and more about the individual. And if you don't fit in, if you don't bow down, if you don't kind of like cater to these people, then what happens is you don't get the brownie points. You don't get the high scores. You will have to travel to these events. The first event that I traveled to was a controversy at the end. So it was only 7 or 8 dogs. My dog had the highest score, and we're standing around waiting to get our medal or whatever. Thank you for that, Auntie Jan. They give us the medal. The guy that's hosting the appraisal is trying to smooth the appraiser. Now, why would you have an appraisal if you didn't plan on getting your dog appraised? What they were trying to do was wait until everybody left and then have the dog appraised. So I got my medal. I'm so proud of myself, so proud of my dog, because remember, I was told I couldn't do this. I was told that I wasn't smart enough. I was told that I was a thug. And I worked my dog out. I fed my dog good food. I loved my dog. I cared for my dog, and he won. So at the end of the show, the host is trying to smooth up the appraiser. He's offering steak dinners. You want to go get some steak or whatever? And he's acting like he's considering getting the dog appraised. He sees me and my brother over there taking flicks and pictures and stuff and videos. And we pumped up and, like showing the medal and stuff. And they tried to call us back and say, well, wait a minute, we want to do one more dog. I'm like, no, I left. Me, bro, y'all ain't no take backs. We're definitely not giving this medal back. So we left. And I felt like that was a little bit shady. That was just shady. You know, why y'all trying to do something behind everybody's back, behind everybody back? Why y'all waiting till the end and try to score the man's dog? So that was like a big red flag for me. Okay, that was a big red flag for me. Remember, I'm an individual owner. I didn't have no whole bunch of dogs. I was just my one dog that I was taking care of. I was putting my all in the one dog. And that's the real difference between us, Exotic Boerboel Familia, and a lot of the other breeders. They're more commercial. There you're going to see lots of cages. Oftentimes, the dogs don't get out the yard. The dogs, a lot of times, they're taking pictures in the cages. And that's like so not honoring the dog. You're not giving the dog its due justice. The dog is so much more than that. The dog has done so much more for me. The dog is not going to look as good if it's stressed out. If you're not giving the dog all of its resources, the things that it needs in order to thrive and be less stressed, he's not going to look the same. He's not going to carry his head the same way. He's not going to stick his chest out the same way. He's not going to have the same level of confidence. He's not going to be as courageous. This is the difference, Exotic Boerboel Familia, that separates us from the average, from your regular breeder. We are striving for excellence. Everything that we do is about the best for the dog. What is the best interest of the dog? How can we serve the dog? Because we feel indebted to the dog. The dog has done so much for us. And I feel like, you know, you just got one hand wash the other, both hand wash the face. I'm gonna look out for you, you look out for me, and that's how the things go. It's a beautiful relationship when you have that type of reciprocity. Now, fast forward a little bit, we get into these and more appraisals, and I just feel like every single time I go to this appraisal, or I come back and started posting my stuff, they trying to censor me. You know, they trying to keep my voice quiet. They don't want, you know, I got to have my posts approved. Now, these are message boards. This is prior to Facebook, prior to Instagram. Facebook, I mean, MySpace wasn't even that popular. We only had message boards. And I just felt like I was being discriminated against. So I spoke out against this. Why are y'all doing this? Why are y'all doing this? I finally woke up, smelled the coffee, and realized that these people were never going to accept me no matter what. This community was never going to accept me no matter what. So I decided, okay, y'all going to keep calling me out my name. Y'all going to keep calling me a thug. I'll show you what a thug would do. Oh, yeah. So I'll show you what a thug would do. And I, you know, I was younger. I was 26. I was 23, something like that. And so I was going at him, toe to toe, blow for blow. You know, every time I was at my job, we had a computer at the job. I would go back and forth with him, checking the messages like I had all day. And, you know, the witnesses to this history. So Exotic Boerboel brand is not just breeding practice, okay? It's not just a breeding program. It's more of a movement. We stand for justice. We stand for equality. So what they're looking for at the show, they're covering the dog. It's a visual evaluation. And they're going to go over the dog, these fine points, and they're going to rate the dog either passing, acceptable, or not passing. And they're gonna go over like so many points of the dog from the nose to the toes. And it's basically a visual evaluation based off of the judge's preferences, or, you know, what do they feel like the standard should mirror. So that just to answer your question. And because I stood on my own, because I stood for something, because I wasn't just gonna fall for anything, it was like I made myself like a target. But I didn't care, because I wasn't looking for nobody's acceptance. I wasn't looking for nobody's approval. I was doing this for myself. I was doing this for my family, for my community. You know, like, people want nice dogs, I will have them for you, because I felt like I didn't want you to have to go through what I went through. The obstacles, the road, the speed bumps, you know, how they try to slow you down. And so I stood against it. And every single time, they didn't understand that I had under knowledge of web development. I went to school for computer maintenance and with a concentration in networking. Later, I went for web design and I trained myself on my own. I learned, how to find out information. And that's what I did. I studied on my own and trained myself. And because of that, I know how to do this internet stuff. And so we grew. I had some key dogs. I had some really good dogs. Talking about Pluto, if you go back in the day, and he was just a very good representative of the dog. And pardon me, one moment. Let me just double check. What's up? Hello? What's up, baby? Hey, baby. Oh, okay. Come in like an hour. Yes, because I'm on my live. All right. That was my daughter. I just got to make sure that they cool, So let's get back to where we was at. I came with some super duper dogs. Then I brought in some super duper highly concentrated females. I had questions. I wanted to know, how are y'all breeding your dogs? If somebody was to ask me these questions, I'm willing to conversate with you. I don't have hate in my heart. I don't understand like trying to block somebody or put somebody down. The way that I was raised, it's enough for everybody. And you do better when you share and try to help other people. So it was like new to me how the people was hating, how they tried to lock you out. They didn't want to share this information. And I was like, well, this must be something that's really important. This must be some. So I was left to my own devices. I had to do my own homework. I had to do my own research. And I found out some really good dogs. And I went ahead, got the dogs, and I did my homework. I got some really, really good specimens. And it was respected. They was respected bloodlines. These were some of the best bloodlines, the original bloodlines, some of the most highly producing, respected dogs. And I was set up to go. And that's what I did. I took off. And I was breeding and I was having great success and I was producing. I mean, the records are there. All of the dogs, you can go back and look. Some of the dogs that I produced back in those days will still stand and hold their own weight today against the modern dogs. These were dogs that I was producing back in the early 2000s. All right. So I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me because I'm not a victim. I'm a warrior. I'm not. This is the things that I was up with. These are the battles that I was fighting. These are the type of things that I had to overcome in order to rise to the level that I'm at now. And all I'm trying to do at this point is set the record where everybody might not be a warrior, right? So I'm fighting for the small guys that might not have the fight in themselves. And so we get off into, let's fast forward a little bit. I produced some amazing dogs. And around this time, we fast forward a little bit, 2009, our dogs started, there was a controversy within the organizations. All right. Remember, the exchange rate in South Africa is like 13-1, 16-1. Lucas Van Vuren, Spitsberg Boerboels, produces a black Boerboel, which was at this time unknown and nobody else had black Boerboels. And they was able to manipulate the system and squeeze the black Boerboel into the breed. Now, this caused a lot of controversy because some people had black Boerboels. Some people did not. Those that did not felt like these dogs were not part of the original standard. The ones that did went with Lucas Van Vuren's story. They was always around, but they was excluded because they didn't want to have them. Now, this caused a shakeup in the Borbo community. This caused a big shakeup. right? Because the breed was split. And the way that they did it, they didn't vote to allow the dogs in. They just snuck them in. They had classified the dogs as ultra brindle. So if you registered a black Boerboel, your dog was registered as an ultra brindle, and it was deceptive. And the organization allowed this to happen. So it caused a big split. The organization, the original SABT, went out of business. They reformed as the SABBS. The people here in America, some of them was extremely upset and was calling them out on it. Like, y'all are just doing a money grab. Y'all gonna allow this dog in because y'all want to sell more puppies. Y'all want to sell more dogs. Y'all want to sell them for more money. The black dogs at this time in 2007, 9, they was going for like $5,000 at the time. So do the math on that. 16 to 1, that's $80,000. 13 to 1, that's $65,000 for one dog in South African money. So it was very lucrative. If you had these black Boerboels, you were really in the money. You could send, 5-10 dogs a year. You done made $1 million, like something like that. 10-20 dogs done made $1 million. Hey, my friend. So it split. Now, I was invited at this time. I didn't have black Boerboels. I had real high quality brown dogs, standard, original standard. And I was invited to the AKC. Long story short, with the transition from the SABT to the SABBS, it was a lot of controversy. They went out of business for a while. There was no registering of the dogs. People wasn't getting their paperwork. A lot of breeders fell off. I was able to weather the storm because at the end of the day, I'm going to have dogs whether I'm breeding them or not. I'm going to have puppies whether I'm selling them or not. I'll give them away because for me, it's about the evolution of the breed. It's about producing the best dog. It's about recognizing your flaws and then trying to improve with the next generation. Every time you try to get better, every generation you're trying to grow, you're trying to get a little improvement. So it's not so much about the money. It's not so much about the sale. It's about the actual success of the program. And we would have had quite a few dogs that was like recognized. We had Big Mo, we had Outlaw, we had Boogaloo, we had Pluto, we had several. I mean, and you can look through the history. It's all on my Facebook. It's all on my YouTube. It's all on all of those early platforms. You can see even Pluto. Now, what happens when you stand up for yourself? What happens when you stand up on your own? What happens when you try to be your own person? Other people that's not like that gonna be jealous. They're gonna say, well, he's not required to follow the rules. He's not following the rules. And then what happens online is they try to bully. They have this it's a form of online bullying in my research where they try to exclude you. They try to kick you out the groups. They try to talk about you in the groups. And then you don't have a chance to speak for yourself. You don't have a chance to give the counterclaim or the argument. And what happens is it's bullying, period, point blank. That's online bullying, talking about you, excluding you, a bunch of people going in and posseing up against you. This is what they do. I call it jumping you online. A bunch of people get in the comments and they hate. So I'm kind of used to dealing with that because I've dealt with it for so long. And what they would try to do is they got dirty tricks. They got dirty tactics. They try to get your page taken down. They try to get you to come up out your hookup. And that's why I really haven't been on this, because it's deep. It's like something that's very close and near and dear to my heart. So I get upset. Like I'm be ready to fight, but it's not. I'm a grown man now. Ain't nobody looking to throw blows or nothing like that. I'm trying to be at peace. I'm looking for peace. You know what I'm saying? At this age and stage in my game where I am at this time, I'm looking for just tranquility, happiness, smooth, easy going situations. I don't want to be like constantly back and forth. So all of this stuff is going on behind the scenes. I really don't talk about it. You know, I might go back and forth with Rhino in the text, and this is where it kind of got ugly because you know you saying stuff to me, I'm saying stuff to you, but everything that I did was in private. Okay, I pissed him off in private. Well, you don't control how hard I hit back, and I'm really not somebody that plays a whole lot. If anybody knows, I don't really be. I be serious. I have fun. We gonna laugh and we gonna have a good time. But I'll be serious when it comes down to mine. I'm not playing around. And what they tried to do, so fast forward to 2020, you know, it's just like everything else. You're trying to make something substantial, you're trying to make it out, you're trying to come up, and they're trying to push you back. It's like, no, we don't want you here. And I'm cool with that, with being an individual, with being an independent, because I don't want to be nowhere that I'm not wanted anyway. I want to be around people that love me. I want to be around people. These is more registry folks. Okay. And this is the issue with the registries and the organizations that I have. How can you be objective if it's a competing organization? That's like the referees are in the sport. The referees are playing the game. So the referees are coaching. Okay. That's where the shady's business comes in, because the referees can make a call and then it works out in their favor because they're trying to have their home team win, or they're trying to have their team win. So that's where I feel like it's not really so much about the dogs as it is politics, control, influence. You know, people are trying to control the narrative, shape people's mindsets about what this dog should be. And that's where I believe that they have the biggest problem with me, because I'm going to lay it out there, my story, the way that it's been working for me, the way that things have happened to me. Is my story. And you're not going to censor my story. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot say. You're not going to tell me what I can and cannot post on my website. It's my website that I pay for. They tried to actually tell me what I could and could not post, what I could and could not do. And I'm like, man, who are you that give you the authority over me? You can't regulate what I do. You understand? I'm from the land of the free, home of the brave. You can do anything that you put your mind to, board buddies. When I say board buddies, I'm talking to everybody that's watching. Exotic Boerboel family is people that is members that's got the Exotic Boerboel, and you could be one too. But it's not just a dog. It's more. It's bigger. It crosses beyond dogs. It's really about classism. The more that I do my homework, the more that I do my research, this has always been the way ever since the induction of these dog shows, where you have individuals that's high and mighty in society, what they call aristocrats, where they feel they had this leisure time. Once the industrial age revolution occurred in like the 1800s, it removed dogs from their primary role as working, and then they became pets. So with that being understood, things have changed in a major way, and these people are trying to say that their dogs are the best, their dogs are better, but they don't really have that intimate relationship with their dog. A dog, remember, is bred with a purpose. The dog is supposed to have a job. The dog served alongside man in hunting, herding, protection, guarding, retrieving fowl. Okay. Dogs dig raw. Thank you for joining. Look, I posted a link. If anybody wants to come on the show, you're welcome. Right? Do your own homework. Dogs Dig Raw says that 15-1 rand does not equal $1 million. Okay, if you sell 150,000, if you sell 100 dogs, that's over $1 million. How about that? All right. If you got 60 dogs, 100 dogs ain't hard for you to sell. Now, where was I? So, like I was saying, let's get off into, we're going to fast forward a little bit. 2015, the AKC accepts the Boerboel, full recognized. And that's big for the breed because we're going to get a lot of publicity. For the first time in history, the Borbo is on the AKC National Dog Show that comes on Thanksgiving, Christmas, those big dog shows. For the first time in history, the Borbo is going to be on national TV. And it's a big moment for the breed because we wasn't getting that kind of publicity before. And this is a really remarkable breed. They hold their own against any breed. They're very beautiful, they're muscular, they have a very impressive appearance. So that caused the breed to skyrocket. A lot of people became more interested. And then they formed, when the SABT folded up, wasn't meeting the needs of the Americans. It was kind of like they was really loyal to their own soil, where even we didn't have regular appraisals. So if you have to get your dog registered and you having puppies, you don't have regular appraisals. You don't have an opportunity to register your puppies. You don't get papers on your puppies. And it makes it problematic when you're trying to sell dogs at the top value and you don't have the paperwork. So now Americans is kind of upset. They form their own organization, the North American Boerboel Breeders Association, and they start hosting their own appraisals. And then me, I'm like, man, some of these breeders in they just basically took the South African system and created their own system amongst their own inner workings. And it wasn't really inclusory for the small people. It was for the American breeders, the ones that had a lot of the dogs, the bigger dogs. And what they, the bigger breeders, it was self-serving to them. So now they can pump out the litters, they can register their own dogs, they can appraise their own dogs, they can put up competing scores with the SABBS or SABs, and they had higher scores. They regularly scored the NABA dogs higher than the SABBS dogs to give the impression that the dogs were better. And that was working for them. That was working for them. Meantime, in between time, I was doing my own thing. I had set up my own registry and I started appraising dogs by myself. I had my younger brother. He was with me the whole time with the dogs. Remember, I told you me and him imported the dog from the beginning. He was, knowledgeable of the breed. We started doing our own appraisals. We tried to shift the narrative of the way that the Amish was being stereotyped, but they just set in their ways. So that kind of organization, I'm not going to allow nobody to mistreat the dogs. I'm not going to subscribe to that. Like, I don't want to be a part of no mistreatment of no animal. So, they got all of this land, and you would think, okay, they farming, they got all this land, they out there working the fields, they working the animals. And, I got much love for the Amish. It's just the mentality, the mindset will not allow them to treat the dog no more than livestock. They don't have that intimate relationship with the dogs. So I kind of walked away from the Amish and continued to do my thing independently. Now, because I refuse to do, I'm not going, like, how can you tell me how to do my dogs, how to breed my dogs? What do you feel is correct or incorrect about my dogs? And you haven't been breeding the dogs longer than me. You newer to the breed than me. You just starting. It don't make sense. So now I'm supposed to take my dog to somebody that haven't been doing it as long as me, and then they're going to tell me what is correct and incorrect about my dogs. How is it working for me? It doesn't matter to me what you think. You are no more than another person to me. You are no better or bigger than me. You don't have no more experience or knowledge than me. So what do I have to bring my dog to you for your approval process? Who are you? Who do you think these people really have this authoritative idea, a mindset that they are somehow superior and you are supposed to be inferior, and you have to seek their approval. And I'm just not going ever, like, I'm sorry, I don't subscribe to that. You're not gonna tell me about me and what I got going on and how that's working for me. So this is just the beginning. This is just kind of like an introduction to what's been going on, because I want to give you some background information to bring you up to speed, because this is something that I've been pursuing since 2006. And I done seen a lot of breeders come and go, a lot of these so-called authorities. I done seen a lot of people. I remember I only started with 3 dogs, and then I just been breeding ever since. And I bought 1 dog at a time. I didn't go get 6 to 10 dogs. Like, I was saving my money 1 dog at a time. I had all of this other stuff going on. I came with 1 dog at a time, very carefully selected though. I didn't just go get anything. I went and got proven producers. I did my homework. I did my research. I looked at the dogs. I looked and see who was doing what, who was producing what. I had an idea. I had a vision, and I pursued it. I only wanted something very specific. I didn't want just any Boerboel. I didn't want to have a dog that just to say, I got a Boerboel. I wanted something special, something that was going to really represent who I am. I feel like I'm a special person. I'm an individual. I'm very unique. And this is the kind of dog that I want. I want the dog to represent me. I want the dog to look good. I want the dog to be in great shape, healthy and strong. And it's just really like a lot of manipulation. They're trying to get people to believe that what they have is better somehow. And it kind of does work, because I was able to make a lot of money. I told y'all, believe it or not, we built the house off of dogs. Okay. It worked out really good for us. Doing the appraisals is very lucrative. You require 8 to 10 people to get there minimum. You're charging them $375 per dog. You got a membership fee, $125. And that stuff adds up real quick. Now you think you do 40, 50 dogs, just do the math on that. 50 times 400, that's $20,000. You see what I'm saying? Real quick, $25,000. You could do that in a weekend. All right. So you can really make a lot of money with these appraisals, and you make it where you can't get the paperwork. It's an obstacle that people have to pay for. If you want to sell puppies, you have to have paperwork. You want to get top dollar, you have to have paperwork. So here we come again. I'm doing my own thing, and they're trying to tell me about what I could or could not name my dogs. Now, in South Africa, the South Africans, they're very different. They don't have that warrior spirit. They don't stand up for injustice. They kind of just accept it. In the large, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but large majority, they just accept it as that's the way that it is. I've even talked to them, welcomed them to come on our show, some of the native South African breeders, to talk about the appraisal system and how that is not really favorable to them, and how they have been, but they're like, no, man, that's just how it is. I can't speak against the SABBS because it's a conflict of interest. I'm like, but you just told me that it was an injustice. So they kind of like just accept it. Well, that's not how we do. We speak up, we stand out here in the United States. And I'm true blood, born and bred, you American as it get. You understand? And so I just would not subscribe to that. And long story short, now, fast forward to 2020, enter Savage Kingdom and his dogs. The pandemic is in. A lot of people at home with their dogs. They looking at the internet. Savage Kingdom got this dog, Barack. Barack is taking off. Barack is racking up the views. I'm talking about tens of millions of views. And with that, he is kind of able to craft this narrative of biggest head, biggest chest, biggest bone, right? That's his slogan, best of the best. And they're trying to use that against him. Well, they're trying to say that that was not the way a Boerboel was supposed to be. Savage, and I even had a problem with it because it's like, bro, who is you? You ain't got the biggest head, you ain't got the biggest chest. I got the biggest head and the biggest chest. You know what I'm saying? Let's go toe to toe. And I would see how they would come after Savage. And it was like kind of reminding me a little bit of how they came after me just for having some good dogs. With that being said, I'm looking at the way that Savage responds, and he really was a class act. He did not go low. He always went higher. I even saw where people was like slandering and trying to come after him. And he was like, man, you know what, bro, whatever you're going through, I'm going to pray for you. And to me, that's like, wow, you know, this guy, I didn't have that type of composure. I'm like, oh yeah. And I would go in and go with right back with him, like, you know, toe to toe, blow for blow. And I learned something from dude, though. It's like, you don't have to do that. You know, you don't have to go like that. And then I reached out to him and talked to him myself. You know, like, what's up, man? Why you not letting my post go through? And he was the type of person that you could talk to. I'm like, okay. So we can have meaningful conversation. We can have meaningful discussion. So I kind of took a liking to the brother. I see more hate. Now, my line is always open, right? My line is always open. And I got this platform. I'm doing these broadcasts. People contacting me to the point they hate this so much. They're talking about doing bodily harm to the man. And I'm like, bro, is that really called for? You know what I'm saying? He just breeding dogs. He can say whatever he wants. This is America. This is a free country. You can have a right, freedom of speech. You can say anything that you want. And you just have to deal with the consequences. So I don't have a problem with what he says. He can say what he wants, just like you can say what you want. And I really believe that it was him having great success that they had an issue with. Now, behind the scenes, they have these cliques, right? They have these groups of individuals that feel like they are the Boerboel community. They are the ones that you have to go through if you're not in with us, then you're not the winning team. You on the losing team. Even if they don't have the best dogs, they're merely looking at the dog and judging the dog based off of his appearance. And to me, the Boerboel should be much more than just a good looking dog. And you can see the evidence in my videos. We work our dogs out. We run our dogs. All of our dogs are fit. All of our dogs are functioning. Exactly, Auntie. It's about the breed. It's not about them. It's not about the breed. It's all about them. Now, I'm standing on my own. I see Savage over there. He's trying to impact change, and he's going about it the right way. You know, he's involved in the politics. Me, I feel like they're never going to accept us. They never are. Remember, it's like their whole goal is to prop themselves up, even if it's not warranted, even if it's not justified. Even if they don't have the better dog, they want to put the better score based off of where the dog come from. And it always seems to work out in their best interest. You can look at my videos and you will see where I had went and showed you where the host of the show routinely scores higher than everybody else. Now, why is that? Because it's a monetary interest. Okay. Now, that is not fair. That's not 100% accurate, right? So I go against it. They got a problem with that. They done formed up a whole squad. Savage Kingdom is an enemy. And I'm just not going to participate in the destruction of another human. It doesn't benefit me. I don't see how, I don't understand people doing it. I'm not going to sit up and gossip with you about another man. We can talk about dogs, but they're trying to, remember, they're trying to throw dirt even on Savage Kingdom. And I'm just not going for that. I'm just not going for that because I see him. I see myself in him. I see a person just like me having success, standing on their own, doing their own thing, and being hated for it. And I just was not going to be a part of that. Now, if y'all remember, we brought in my platform is wide open, right? So if you come here, you're welcome to come as long as you're respectful, as long as you maintain respect. We don't have to agree on everything. You're welcome to disagree. It's an open platform. Now, with that being said, we're able to impact the narrative of the breed. They want to have a more of a refined breed with all of these details because, you know, they're trying to promote their own thing. Not the biggest, not the most impressive dog, not the kind of dog that you see off that we grew up when we looking at Spike on the Disney Channel or Looney Tunes or whatever. You know, not like Brutus. It wasn't no big dog. They don't necessarily want the most impressive looking dog. It's not so much about what the people desire. It's about what they deem to be correct. And instead of being objective, allowing people to choose for themselves, they want to dictate. Savage goes kind of against the grain, and he's telling me, along with everybody else, hey man, just let the process take its course. I'm like, bro, let me tell you, I've been doing this for 15, 16 years at this time. These people ain't gonna change no matter what you do. They're not trying to accept you. They're not trying to, you are a threat, dude. Now, what do? Savage is taking up for them. Instead of them taking up for Savage, they kicked all of the Savage Kingdom franchises. They removed them from the registry. They removed Savage Kingdom Boerboels. They basically erased his dogs from the history of NABA record books. If you got a Savage Kingdom dog, you can't register it with us. How is that fair? How does that make sense? And it's a letter that they put out that they tried to say we was harassing them online. I haven't took down no videos. How is asking you for public records? You're a 501c3. You're operating as a nonprofit organization. There are certain, that means that you don't pay taxes. There are certain requirements. If I'm a citizen, a United States citizen, I can make these requests and you have to comply as a 501c3. There are also certain duties to report. You have to report your income. I'm able to look at your records and see how many dogs you appraised and how many members that you have. I can do the math. And it's all the record, the history is all there for you to see. I called them out on it. Why are y'all underreporting your income? Where are your officers? Where is your charter? Where are your policies and procedures? Where's your code of conduct? Where's your code of ethics? These are the things that you're supposed to have. You're supposed to have quarterly meetings with recorded minutes. Where are these things? They didn't have them. They didn't produce them. Y'all steady collecting DNA. Y'all not even submitting the DNA. There is no real DNA test. This is another money grab. And we exposed them. And instead of complying, what they did was went ahead and closed up. And then they formed up a new organization, NABBR. And they doing the same thing. They have these unqualified representatives trying to tell people what is correct and incorrect about their dogs. How? Where do you get this experience? Who trained you? I'm not allowed to ask them type of questions. I shouldn't question. I'm supposed to just accept what you tell me as the truth. I'm supposed to just go along and do what you tell me to do without even thinking about it myself, without considering where's the money going that you taking from me, that you asking me for, our hard-earned money. I got a right to know, where is it going, what's in it for me. You just going to give me a score that you came up with out the blue? You're not going to promote, publicize when I win. You're not going to expose me to the public. You're not doing nothing for me. It's everything that I have to do for you. It's all benefit for the organization. And I called them out on that. It's not like the ABKC or the AKC where they have these shows and allow us to exhibit our dogs, and or it's not like a working dog competition where the best dog is really measured. I said, well, y'all saying that y'all measuring data. Where's the data? How is it a tool or of use to the breeder? They don't want to answer these questions. They don't have the answers, because the truth is, it ain't about the dogs. This is about the people. I'm keeping it about the dogs. You got to look at who is involved. All of the people at the top of these clubs got a lot of money, got a lot of dogs, and they have these prison style setups. That does not work for this breed. It's very intelligent. They got an emotional stability. They have to be stable emotionally. They have to be stressed less in order to reproduce successfully. That's how we're able to breed dogs consistently and regularly without the use of artificial insemination, without the use of progesterone testing. We're doing it the natural way. Our dogs are fit for breeding. They mate naturally. They have their puppies naturally. They're a commercial breeding setup, this modern style breeding, and I really don't feel that it does justice to the breed. You look at their setups, small cages, set up for mass producing of dogs. They don't have that relationship. They don't have that bond. The man's best friend, the dog is man's best friend, and man is the dog's best friend. They don't treat dogs. They don't have that respect for the dog like that. How can you have that great success if your dog is always sad? If your dog is being mistreated, if your dog's resources is not being met, if your dog's required needs, if you're not getting exercise, if it's not getting structure, if it's not having a regular leadership, if it's not getting a required leadership, the dog is not happy. It becomes a dysfunctional. It becomes problematic. It becomes infertile. They don't have puppies. They don't have great success. Their dogs don't look strong. Their dogs are not interacting with the environment. And you can always tell where the dog is being neglected. All you got to do is look at the feet, look at the pads, look at how they got the sores. The dog is spending a lot of time laying on his pads. And that's where you see 1-year-old dogs less than 1 year old with them sores and stuff on there. To me, that's a pure sign. Your dog is not active. Your dog is not busy. Your dog is spending a lot of time on the concrete. To me, that's like the penitentiary. Steel and concrete. You go to my yards, we got it set up like a beach, right? Our dogs don't have them pressure sores on them. Then we got the balm that we use to treat the sores, or we want to prevent the sores. Let me see if I got something. Yeah. So here goes another one of the things that we trying to do. What's up, boss man? So these are the type of things that the measures that we have made. We are serious about what we're trying to do. So we got this little stuff that we use here. This is especially for the dogs. And what it does, it's not just for dogs, it's actually for humans. You can use it yourself, but it's all about providing a service. I feel like I'm a servant. I owe the people that have done so much for me. I owe the dogs that have done so much for me. Yeah. and they already, that's what I'm saying. So it's not really about the best interest of the breed, it's the best interest of the greed. And I call these people out on it. And now they coming for me. They came for Savage. And I feel like when they got him to surrender those dogs, that empowered them. That made them feel stronger. That made them feel like they can do anything. They could get me next. And I ain't going. Y'all gonna have to come harder. They're going out teaming up with they building a team. And it's like, you can't stop the truth. You can't stop the light from shining, even with your darkness, even with the dark, scandalous, shady tactics that they employing. You're not going, righteous is always going to outshine injustice. People can see for themselves, and they're going to choose the best dogs. The dog is going to look better when you take care of it. You can't expect no more out of anything than you're willing to give. That's something that I understand very well. So everything that I do, I put my all into. That's why I don't do a whole lot. That's why you don't see me out at the club or the bars and stuff kicking it, because I want to, if I'm going to be doing that, I'm going to be doing that to the max every week. I'm going to be balling out. I'm going to be doing it to the max. And it's not really, that's just basically flushing money down the drain. I don't really see how that benefits the community. I have a purpose. I'm here to be a good example. And because of that, it's just some things that I'm not going to do. Now, they got a whole bunch of people together to try to silence me. And it's kind of like, the more that I think about it, it's kind of like what they say, it's kind of like a compliment that you feel like you got to go get all these people. And I'm like, well, you know what? Every single time you got somebody that go against me, I'm like, well, look, let's keep it dogs. Put your dogs up against mine. And they always tuck their tail and run. They never want to do that. And I don't put it out all different kind of ways. We can do it online. We can go picture for picture, video for video. See who got the best dog. Let the people decide. We can put up the dogs on a weight vest, make them run with a certain amount of weight, and we can see who dog gonna quit first. We can put the dogs on a bike and ride alongside the bike, cover a certain amount of distance to see who's gonna cover the most distance or who dog gonna quit first. I do this every day. This is what I do. Like, I don't have to get ready. I'm ready already. They never ready. They're not ready. They got to get ready. I'm ready all the time. And so I've been waiting. And I'm glad that they get in their team together. I'm glad that they are pooling over their resources, because Exotic Boerboel family, we've been ready. All of our dogs are meticulously cared for. There is no breeders in our camp with more than 4 or 5 dogs. We don't have 20 dogs. All of our dogs is getting daily care. And that's what they fail to realize. We really love our dogs. Y'all really trying to be important. Y'all trying to make money. Y'all concerned about, if you look at a lot of the breeders, they like, and I don't want to get off into like individualized targeting people, but the ones that's coming after me, they got a lot of money, right? And they feel like their dogs is better. They done spent all this money on their dogs, but that doesn't make your dog better. It doesn't matter how much money you spend. You got to put the work in. If you're not willing to put in the work, how do you expect to reap the reward? If you don't water your plant and give it the proper nutrients, the proper amount of sunshine, how do you expect your plant to grow? If you're not putting in the care, if you're not watering your garden, then don't expect to have a bountiful harvest. That's just not the way that it goes. You can't wake up one morning and decide to dump a whole bunch of water on your plant to make up for the days that you missed. That's not how plants go. That's not how animals go. It's something that you have to commit to daily to have great success. And a lot of times the breeders, they feel like, well, I'm not able to sell dogs because of him. Or he keeps saying that he got the biggest head and the biggest bone and the biggest chest and he got the best of the best. And he's presenting an obstacle for us to overcome. He getting all the views. We can't get no views. Everybody's looking at his stuff. Well, maybe it's because he put a little thought into his content. He didn't just go outside and flick up a couple pictures of his dogs inside the backyard. He decided to make a video that people would be interested in watching. He put a little bit of thought into his stuff. You can do that too. You can do it too. Work on your craft. Develop your dogs the right way. Don't let's leave them in the cage all day. I saw a breeder that had his dogs, his puppies, and they was all in the poop. I don't want to really get off into knocking nobody down because that's just not me. That's them, right? And that's one of the things that we got to stay aware of. We got to stay conscious of because we don't want to become, when we dealing with these haters, when we dealing with these sneak dissers, when we dealing with these cowards, we're not going to become them. We're not going to stoop down to their level, right? And I'm not going to allow, I'm going to just keep my thing. I'm going to keep on doing my thing the way that I've been doing it, about positivity, inspiration, motivation, uplifting you, giving you some tools and some news that you can use in the form of education and knowledge of my experience that I have had with the breed. I hope that this have been informative and interesting for y'all. I'm just getting back to the swing of things, y'all. We're going to turn up. We're going to get it back to like we used to. We're going to have a bunch of visuals for you to see. But, you know, we're going to get back to doing this on the weekly. And we're going to keep on pumping out that fire content. Evidently, it's making them mad. That's why they keep coming. But guess what? Y'all going to have to come harder than that. Because we ain't stopping. This is something that it's in us. This ain't like a costume that we put on trying to dress up and be like a YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to be commercial dog breeders and we just trying to make a whole bunch of money and then we're gonna do this for 5 years and then we out the game. This is a lifestyle for the Exotic Boerboel family. We actually love our dogs. We trying to go far. We would like that. We trying to have the best dog in the history of all dogs in modern society. How does that apply to when we say modern society? That means that a dog that is stable, he's capable of fitting in to the urban environment. He's not a threat, right? He's not running around killing cats in the neighborhood. People don't have to be afraid. They don't feel like, oh, I can't come out the house when he got his dogs out. Well, that's what I say, modern civilized society. The dog is not a threat. He's not going to hurt nobody. They're very observative. The dog is actually have a rich history because what I found out is the Borbo goes all the way back to the dogs that King Tut kept with him in Egypt. It's a very smart dog. But remember, part of this breed, what they don't want you to know or what they often leave out, comes from the Africanist dog, which is like basically a street dog. But the struggle to survive, the resourcefulness of a street dog, he got to be very aware. He got some virtues. He not a useless dog. He not just a mutt. He have to have some value in order to survive. He have to be able to aid. He have to be an aid. He not just being bred based off of his look. He have to provide a function. The Africanist dog had a purpose. He alerted the village to intruders or to threats. So with that being said, I just want You know, it's much deeper for us. It's much deeper for us. And we're going to continue our mission. We're going up against Sabs. No, Sabs not as much. You know, we had hold on one second. Bro, I was just checking in with you. I'm gonna hit you back. All right. So yes and no. Some of the Sabs representatives are kind of, you know, like Joseph Phillips. They go against me. They're not as in your face, but I do believe that they are behind some of this stuff, right? Because they got this click. I see this posters that they make behind my back. But you know, I'm not here trying to make enmity. Naba are and the Sabs are not the same people. No. Naba, really, those are the primary obstacles. Max Tran. YouTube family, what's going on? Richard D. Berries, fat bullies. Those is the more visible, the more ones that is rhino Boerboels. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that's more visible, that's more like not really trying to show. They still is cowards though. They don't never show their face. You know what I'm saying? They don't never want to, they always want to act like, oh no, I didn't say that, or I wasn't talking about you, or I wasn't, because I go straight at them. You know what I'm saying? I name names and I go straight at them. No, I'm not ducking no fades. I'm not scared of nothing. It ain't even about being scared. It's like, what is it to be afraid of? Every day we walk out the house, there's a risk involved. It's way more serious things in life than just the dogs. So it's a lot of, you know, I don't know who it is because they're like cowards. They don't never speak up and say, you know what, I'm against this, but they don't come out and say it straight to your face. They cowards. They sneak dissers and they haters. But I'm not scared. We not scared. We're going to continue to do what we've been doing, feeding our dogs the best food, working our dogs out, loving our dogs, taking care of them, and producing some of the best dogs that the earth has ever seen. Look for yourself. Go all over the internet. Scour the internet. Look at the Boerboels, and then just come back and compare. Look at our dogs. Really compare the Borbo to any breed, and you will see what I mean. They really hold their own. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue to hold our own, stand up for equality and justice and the right thing. I can't just sit back and let y'all just bully people, let y'all try to intimidate people, and then just don't say nothing about it. Somebody got to speak up. Somebody got to be an example and say, this ain't right. I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to stand up for people. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to stand up against, I don't care who you is, how big you is, how many people that's with you. Because at the end of the day, the dogs speak for themselves. Take better pride in your dogs. Put more interest, put more into your dogs, and you will have great success. My original dog, my original Borbo, you won't believe this, was only 103 pounds. What's going on with my people? Thank you, Auntie. I appreciate that. You don't have to do that. I appreciate you though so much. Word buddies, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We back though every week. If y'all got questions and concerns, y'all can leave them now. We gonna answer. We taking questions and concerns. Look, I'm gonna put the link out there. It's open for anybody that would like to join the conversation. We could talk dogs all day long, as long as we don't even have to agree. As long as you can keep it respectful, then we ain't gonna have no problems. And that's just the way that it is, boy buddies. That's all we trying to do. Just share with you what we got going on. They could keep on coming all they want. Anybody that knows me well, that I stand as a man, I stand with character. You know, it's a lot of, what's up, student for life? Come on in, man. What's going on?
How you doing, brother? Man, I just had to tap in, show some support, man, and I really, really support your movement, man. Everything you've been doing, and at the base of everything, I noticed that you always go back into, investing in your dogs, doing what's right by the dogs and everything else, man. And even with whatever opposition or anything that might come your way, man, I just feel like you can't go wrong doing that. You can't go wrong investing in them, your time, energy, and supporting them. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to salute you and support you, man. So you keep being great, keep doing your thing.
Thanks, bro, man. I appreciate that, bro. You got
Hmm.
the right idea. Exactly what we represent. You can't go wrong when you put into your dogs. If this is about dogs, we all trying to do better with our dogs.
Hmm. Hmm.
How can you go wrong?
Yep.
Standing up
Yep.
for the dog.
And I've always I'm a competitive person in everything that I do, and dogs being my biggest passion. Of course, competition comes along with that as well, but I never understood. I never understood people like developing true hatred or madness for another dog. You feel what I'm saying? Like even if they subpar dogs, better whatever the competition is, at the end of the day, it's a dog. So I love it. You feel what I'm saying? Like I got a passion for the dogs. Period. Even if I don't rock with the person behind the dog or whatever else, the dogs is what upon. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like ain't no real room for hatred and bashing and all that kind of stuff if it's about the dogs. But I think a lot of times you see it ain't about the dogs. It's about they use dogs as a proxy for their life not their life not being where they wanted to be, or they're being miserable in one part of their life.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And it's like this is our common ground, so we can come here and we could discuss dogs and we can use the dogs to uplift us,
Yep. Yes,
you
sir.
know, and help your mind state, help your mental mind state,
Hmm.
relieve stress, healthy activity. So much of our lives has been caught up with these screens and these phones and this media and this internet and stuff. We done got away from the natural,
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
out, just walking and smelling the fresh air and catching the sunshine and the rain and the waves. What I mean, the sun rays and stuff. We
Yep.
done got
And
into
like I said,
this
these dogs create
artificial.
healing for us.
Yes,
You know.
bro. I'm telling you, like I had for a minute was without dogs, man, and it was like driving me crazy, like having to be with, like listen to people and entertain how much stuff be going, like the lies. You know how people live, man. We talk game, go back and forth. It's nothing like the dog is pure.
Yes. Yep.
You
Ain't
know,
nothing fake about them. One thing I love about a dog is, bro, they incapable of lying. You feel what I'm saying? They incapable of lying. Either they either rock with you, love you all the way, or they don't all the way. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna never run into a dog that's his tail wagging, his body wiggling, all of his body language showing you that he like you, and at the real deal, he don't like you. You feel what I'm saying? Like they don't lie. You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right. It's true. It's pure.
Hmm.
And it's
Yep.
like every single time, it's the same. Like I could go outside, come back, and the dog is like so happy to see me. It's just it's the same feeling that I get when I walk in the house, my baby come running up to me, daddy, daddy. That's how, you know what I'm saying? That's a good feeling. Like somebody love you, somebody was waiting on you, somebody you important to somebody. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody want to be important, everybody want to be meaningful. And that's what the dog does for me. It's not about the money. It ain't about the fame. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? It ain't
No,
about
no doubt.
trying to be bigger than the net. It's about, hey, this is great. This I want to share this with everyone because
Yeah.
it's done so much for me. It's done so much for me.
And what you just said there is why I think that you're gonna keep elevating and everything else, is because like you said, you want to share this with other people. A lot of times when somebody gets a hold of something that's great or anything, they want to keep it to themselves, they want to privatize it, they want to make sure that only certain people have access to the stuff. But like you just said there, man, you coming from a pure place of I want to share this, I want to enrich other people's lives, stuff like that, man. Like that motive right there, bro, that's what's gonna carry you through, no matter what's coming at you, because you're coming at it from a pure place.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, bro, because that's really that's straight from the heart. It's like that ain't something that I just made up, like that ain't a slogan or nothing. That's like just me coming off the top of my head, straight up from the heart. Like, are this what
Yep.
I, because like the people that get our dogs, man, they'll tell, or like you done train the dog and you enhance the person's life or whatever you do, and then what happens is they feel so good, like, man, you really helped me, because if you don't have a great relationship with your dog, it's very stressful. I mean, if you able to help someone overcome some type of obstacle, some type of issue that they going through, then that enhance the quality of their life. And I know what that can do for me. You know what I'm saying? And
No
that's
doubt.
just about building, man. That's at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Enhancing the lives, the quality of life, bro.
And I'm glad to see that we got a community that's growing in that direction, man. Of course, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with Samurai and the Shogun Army and everything, man. And that's all that they built around, man. Just building solid relationships, solid people, solid dogs. You know what I'm saying? So like, very similar, coming from a pure place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, them my bros. Them my bros. Yeah, exactly. Because we all share this true love for the dog. And I think that's the real ultimate threat, because it's like we not gonna stop. We gonna keep doing it because we really love the dogs and we love what we're doing. And it actually is an obstacle for them to overcome, because now it's like this is a competing ideology that we got to deal with. And we just keeping our dogs, we just trying to breed them and get some puppies.
Yeah.
We just trying to make some money right quick, man. I wish these dudes would shut up. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Like I'm affecting their bottom line or something. Because I would never do some of the stuff that they be trying to do to me, to another person.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
missed I missed the I just tapped in once I streamed in, so I'm probably like an hour behind. But what's the gist of it? Like, you getting like some hate mail, or what's going on?
Man, they doing real dirty. They going around trying to say they spreading rumors and lies. They done made up fake paperwork and they trying to put it on my record, or my criminal record, saying that I'm some type of pedophile. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
wow.
And then posting it in on different groups and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Spreading the lies and the rumors. And you could look my name up and look up my history and look up my whole thing. But it was problematic. It's not really that much of a problem, because everybody that know me knows that that ain't me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I train kids. People bring their children over to me. I feed them and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They was calling my house like an orphanage. It'd be so many kids over there. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
people would know, my family know that I'm gonna take care of the kids. I'm gonna look out for them. I'm gonna train them, have them exercise, and I'm gonna make them work. They're gonna get some good example of knowledge and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So anybody that knows me better than that. But it's just dirty, man. It's dirty that they would even do that. I ain't never, even the stuff where me and the dude was going back and forth. It was just between me and him until
Right.
they he took some. So it's like dirt balls, though. They thieves and criminals. Like, they using the dogs like a money thing. They ran off with my man's money. He was looking at the show and used the money. He trusted the individual and sent his money on a stud fee. The man had collected it in a garage or whatever. The semen wasn't no good. And I had that said, man, that's not right. Give my dude his money back. Ever since this organization went out of business, though, they've been coming for us. They came for Savage. They took Savage out. They had sent the police. They started sending police to his house. And
Jeez.
they ended up catching my dude. So he sent the dogs out. They said his dogs was frozen water buckets, right?
Mhm.
So that's, you can always, who said how long, you don't know how long my dog's been outside. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And what they did was they told him, look, this could be much easier if you just surrender the dogs to us.
Oh, that's the play. Yeah, that's the play.
Yeah, they didn't try that with me before.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
tell them, y'all gonna have, and there's no way I'm never doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess bro felt like it was it was just too much. It's overwhelming. Bruh's retired. He trying to just, have peace in his life. He ain't
Mhm.
trying to have all of that drama and people. I mean, they swarmed my dude's house. He said they blocked off. He lived in a cul-de-sac. He said they blocked off the cul-de-sac. Nobody can come in. Nobody can come out. 20 some officers and stuff in his house, going through his house and
Mhm.
stuff. And they ended up, he just said it's just too much. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
so
That
that's
got me
kind of,
like, huh?
say what, bro?
I said that had to make life hard on them. You know what I'm saying? Like even living in your neighborhood, now your neighbor's looking at you some type of way, or you know.
Yeah, it was very
Mhm.
embarrassing to bro. So he just ended up folding up, and it's like a lot of it empowered them. You know what I'm saying? The ones that
Mhm.
didn't have that type of reach, that wasn't then getting them type of views and engagements, and it's really about the narrative, the influence. It's
Mhm.
it's really about the narrative, the shifting and the shaping. We lost, bro. It's about the shifting and the shaping of the breed, the idea of what a boar was supposed to be. Boar buddies, I gotta pull off. I would love to stay. I could talk dog with y'all all day long and all night long because this is what I do. But I got some other responsibilities. I got some other obligations. So I'm gonna pull off right now. But I'm gonna leave y'all with this. You gotta be able to read between the lines. If it's something don't make sense, question it and keep asking questions until it does make sense. Don't just believe what someone says until it's all good, family. This next time we be back next week. But if it don't make sense, ask questions and ask questions until it does. That is how we come up with solutions, not by just mindlessly doing what you are told to do. All good, family. I understand, man. Now, thank you for joining, though, Greg. We really appreciate your input, value your input, and thank you for being respectful and joining the conversation. We appreciate that. We're gonna be back again next week. We're gonna be doing some impromptu shows. Y'all make sure that y'all tune in. If you know somebody that could benefit from this information, share the post. Let everybody know what's going on. We're not stopping. If y'all got some information, if you want to gain some knowledge and information about what we got going on with the Borbo breed, this the place to be. Until next week, board buddies, stay active, stay busy. And if you don't do nothing else, be kind to others. It would take you farther. It'll take you, you will go places, you will get there much faster. You catch way more bees with honey. Ain't that what they say? Than you do with vinegar.
No rush, go on, move dumb. Back and forth, push and shove. Make your peace.